Don't this shit make a nigga wanna? Don't this shit make a nigga wanna? Don't this shit make a nigga wanna?
Hey, welcome everybody to AIMEzing Words. We've had a long layoff from all the NBA games, but I haven't really had the opportunity to talk about the game twos and the final and NBA Final Four. We're gonna start off talking about the Spurs and the Thunder and the Spurs. Oh my gosh, yo, hold the time out. I might need to call Oklahoma City. Where is Oklahoma City? Oh, Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma to ask if they made it back safely because they got killed in San Antonio in Game 2. I mean, they got demolished. We saw Tony Parker had 22 and 5. Tim Duncan had 14 and 12. Thunder shot 10% from the three-point line. We got Russ looking at KD like, wake up. What's up, bro? Wake up. This ain't the MVP speech no more. We know your mom's the real MVP, but we need you, Pip. And, you know, they just got demolished. It was the worst loss in Thunder history. You know, obviously they used to be the Seattle Supersonics, you know, with GP, the glove, and Sean Kemp back in the day, Nate McMillan and those guys. But the Thunder are in serious danger of getting swept in this series, and it's really scary to think that the Spurs can sweep a team like the Thunder because, you know, obviously they have the second best player in the world, second best point guard in the world, the MVP, but there is a slight chance that Serge Ibaka will be back for Game 3. And if he comes back for Game 3, it might have an opportunity to change this series around. But I still lean towards the Spurs, and it's going to be interesting to see if he could come in a Game 3 of a series and really make a huge impact. Now, 2 years ago when they beat the Spurs in the conference finals, they were down 2-0 and won the next 4. Is that going to happen? Like I said before, there's no James Harden. We see that they have no scoring options other than Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and Reggie Jackson. I mean, Caron Butler can obviously come in there, get some buckets, hit some shots, spread the floor along with old head Derek Fisher. But they're really limited scoring. So if Serge could come in and bring his 18 to 20 points, will that really make a difference? Because the Spurs are knocking on all cylinders. And you look at the fact that the other three starters for OKC combined for 2 points. 2 points. 3 players, 2 points. That's 0.67 points per player. That's not going to lead to victories. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when they go back to OKC tomorrow afternoon. Actually, it'll be tomorrow night at 8:30. And, you know, if Serge Ibaka plays, I'm going to give the Thunder the victory. But if Serge can't play, I'm telling y'all, we're going to have to pull out the brooms. We're going to have to pull out the brooms. And for 2 years in a row, we're going to see Greg Popovich, Timmy D, Tony Parker walk away with sweeping the second best team, quote unquote, in the Western Conference. But I'm going to move on to the series that obviously intrigues me a whole lot more. And we had another DWade signing in Indiana. Lance Stevenson did ball out. He had 25, 7, and 6. But David West and Paul George combined to shoot 9 of 32 from the field. Roy Hibbert had 12 and 13. George Hill had 9 points. But the Pacers lost by 4 in a game where I'm still looking for the guy, King James. You see the logo? You see the crown? Like, I haven't seen him yet in this series. I mean, yeah, he had 22, 7, 6, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Okay, he did his thing all around. But for the second game in a row, I can't even remember the last time DWade led Miami in scoring in back-to-back playoff games. Like, this might be we talking 2010. We talking before I had a stash, before I had any muscles, before LeBron had any rings. That's the last time that DWade led the team in scoring in back-to-back games. Am I ready to say that DWade is back and will be the ultimate X factor and will be the reason why this Miami Heat team can win the next 4 games after losing Game 1? I'm not, and I got to see what he does tonight. If we see another DWade sighting tonight, then it's clear to me that this Miami Heat team and the Spurs will be meeting a lot sooner than expected. Well, the finals are starting until June 5th, but these guys will have a long layoff because both these teams can win the rest of the games in their series against their opponents. You look at Udonis Haslem, was able to start in this game, which thank you, Coach Spo, for doing that. Thank you. Shane Battier should have DNPs the rest of the postseason. Shane Battier should have DNPs the rest of the postseason. That's what I'm going with. You know, UD had 7 points starting from Miami. You know, DWade had 23, 5, and 5. We still haven't seen Chris Bosh yet. You know, I don't know if he's still thinking about, I don't know what he's thinking about, but we just haven't seen him play in this series yet. And he legitimately has to show why this is a big 3 and not really a 1-2 punch. Because so many times you see on ESPN, we see in all these media places, that we see it's a 1-2 punch. It's technically LeBron James and DWade are great players. But Chris Bosh is no slouch. He's no bum. He's a baller. He's 6'10", 6'11". He can shoot the three. He can rebound. He can space the floor. And he's a legit 2010 guy on a team in the NBA. So we need a little bit more of that from you, Chris Bosh. Birdman came out. And really the two key players from Miami in that game, in game 2, was Chris Anderson and Norris Cole. Norris Cole was the one who was able to slow down Lance. And even though Lance could shoot over Norris Cole, it's seen, and Miami now knows that he's their best on-ball defender for a guy like Lance Stephenson, somebody who could just get under his skin and just stick with him and really make him work to get to the rim. And Birdman, although he only had 3 points, he had 12 rebounds, which is big rebounds, and played a lot of minutes down the stretch along with the big three. There's a lot of scenarios going into this game 3. You look at the fact that Paul George had a concussion when DWade kneed him in the head on a loose ball. We look at the fact that Indiana shot 40% from the field and won the boards only by 3 against this undersized Miami Heat team at home while up 1-0. We look at the fact that LeBron still hasn't had a LeBron James game. You know, he's played very modest. He looks really tired, and I'm going to keep saying it to Coach Spo, and maybe you need to play that guy Mike Beasley, who's supposed to be the 3-man that backs up LeBron. We don't know if that's going to happen. And another thing that can happen tonight is Coach Spo, Eric Spoelstra, let me apologize, I'm not a part of the Miami Heat, technically, quote-unquote, has said that tonight's game will dictate if Greg Oden will make his postseason debut. Now, if Greg Oden makes his postseason debut tonight and has some type of impact on this game, ladies and gentlemen, that three-peat is looking a whole lot clearer. I already know the rematch is going to occur, but the three-peat, that is the real question right now because San Antonio looks so good and LeBron looks so tired. But at the same time, this Miami Heat team reminds me of the 2011 Heat team, which was, you know, you look at that conference finals, it was against the Chicago Bulls, who a lot of people felt could have beat Miami that year. Even the great Charles Barkley himself, shout out to Sir Charles, a.k.a. my uncle. Anyways, the thing about that series is that we saw DWade, LeBron James have phenomenal performances and really take over the games on the road down the stretch in that series, with LeBron taking Derrick Rose completely out of the series. But the other thing was we saw Chris Bosh have a couple big games, you know, after Carlos Boozer made his comments saying that, you know, DWade and LeBron were great players. So it's really, really reminiscent. I've said this all year that this 2014 team reminds me so much of that 2011 Heat team, which, as we know, lost in 6 games to the Dallas Mavericks. So everything's going to be interesting. So tonight, I've got to pick Miami to win this game. I got to pick Miami to win by double digits. And I don't know if I'm going to see a LeBron sighting quite yet. I don't think I'm going to see a LeBron sighting until Game 5, and I'm going to go on the record and say they're going to finish the series in 5 games. I originally picked a sweep, but I thought LeBron would play a little bit more like Michael Jordan than like LeBron James. You know, I thought he was going to try and channel his inner GOATness and get that victory, but it's going to be really interesting to see what we see tonight and which Miami team shows up. And that's all, folks. As I sign off, I want you to read my hat, sir. AIMEzing. Thank you all for watching. AIMEzing Words is done for the day. We'll see you after game 3s.